Good morning, aloha, LSP family. Welcome to the LGLX LSP Takeover. If you are brand new around these parts, I am Doc Rock. I am some weirdo that lives in Hawaii that absolutely loves teaching people about YouTube and live streaming. Yeah, it's what it is. Like a little bit about me, nothing. I'm just like to do anything and everything. I'm very investigative. I like to play with stuff. Total gearhead, which is the reason why I'm here to answer a lot of your questions. I have lots of experience with various forms of broadcasting, from radio to television to live streaming. Been live streaming since Justin TV, Ustream, Mogulus. I don't know. You can go back when the picture was like yo big, and we were like, yo, that's so rad. So yeah, been around for a little bit of while. Yeah, so that's it. As an old dude, I have enough experience to probably help you out with your questions. So I'm kind of here today to take over because Lori asked me to, and I'm scared of her. So I'm not really sure I want to get beat up by a small lady. So I'm like, yeah, I better just do what she says. So I am here. You can find me all over the internets at Doc Rock, and then of course with my new startup LGL.live. My family here. I am also the community manager for Ecamm, so any Ecamm questions, I can definitely help you there. It's kind of my job. And other than that, let's get it twisted. Yes. Good morning to a bunch of my regular folks I see here all the time. Randy Turbo Jackson is back in the building. Good to see you, brother. I haven't seen you in a minute. I'm happy to see you here now. And Mr. Camera Junkie, one of my favorites. So good to see you. All right, let's get it started. Let me check in the question game. I'm trying to scroll through these here comments. Dun, 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 dun. I'm just laughing at the comments. You guys are absolutely hilarious. Okay, let's see. Okay, there are people that are talking about audio problems, but I'm pretty sure we got that covered. Okay, can we talk about, oh, wow, that was huge. And hold on, gang, see, I knew I could not do this and make it completely flawlessly because out of all the things I set up, I forgot to brand my comments for LSP because I'm so used to doing it through Ecamm. Give me 2 seconds. I'll show you how it's done because this is, you got to do it correct. You got to give it some justice. You know what I'm saying? Let's go with this color right here. All right, that looks swanky. Here we go. Mr. David Holm wants to know, can you talk about how to get Zoom into Ecamm using NDI? There's a couple of good ways to do this. NDI just looks at any window on the computer and it shows it. So for those of you who don't know, let me explain. NDI is Network Device Interface. It's what allows me to do something kind of swanky like this. So if I come over here and I want to show you guys my Chrome window, Ecamm and most streaming softwares, VMix, all of the above, can do a screen share. And screen shares work perfectly fine and they're good. I don't like that personally. I want to see the specific window in a specific app. NDI allows you to do that. It allows you to do things like show a window, or window capture is what it's industry called. Show a window capture from a specific app, or I can use it to bring in network-oriented cameras, like a camera that's way on the opposite side of campus. If it was on the same network and it had an NDI interface, a la PTZ cameras for you church folks, I could just do that. So I'll give you an example of what NDI looks like, and hopefully, yes, it just works. So this is a Chrome window. I'm not doing a screen share per se. I am saying I want Chrome to show me this specific window of Chrome. So when I press that, it works. So if I just told the NDI application, show me this specific window of Zoom instead of this specific window of Chrome, that's it. The whole thing. So you can get NDI tools, or NDITV.com, I believe is the answer. NDI.TV is the way you do it. You just download this and you come over here. You go to NDI tools at the very top. Taking it from the top. Tippy. Tell it to stop asking me about cookies. Come over here, press download. The part that you need inside the NDI tools for Mac would be screen capture. Same thing for Windows. You need NDI screen capture because you are capturing a screen from a particular piece of software. That's it. I personally not a fan of that. I use something different, SIENNANDI. But the reason why I show you the NDI tools route first is because it's free 95. When you get over to Sienna NDI, it's a little bit more swanky. It costs $40, but it's the pro thingy thing. Like, it's the pro level. So if you come over here, you want the professional NDI scan converter for Mac. The interface is way more intelligent. It can do more things, but you're going to cough up $40. Hey, it's your stream. It's worth $40. So that's the answer to that. Yes, you can absolutely do that. You can pull that in. Let's see what. Hey, Sammy Super Chat is in the building. Thank you, Sammy, for the Super Chat. Where'd it go? I don't have a fancy Super Chat dancing type thing because I don't want to break Gloria's stuff. So, Sammy, I appreciate you, brother, and that's why I call you Sammy Super Chat. You the man. Good to see you, Randy. Good morning, Carlos Phoenix. Good to see you here. I appreciate you guys. I thank you so much for being willing to throw the streams. Richie Rich, good to see you here, brother. Rich is seriously one of the nicest, coolest, and funniest cats in the game. We have our little sessions on Saturdays, and I get to just laugh at Rich because he's always doing something funny. So I really appreciate the man. He is such a wonderful cat. And he's pretty smart. Okay, so Steve wants to know, if you play your intro countdown timer with music, is there a way to communicate with your guests in Ecamm? Yes and no. Okay, so yes, I'll take it back, but you gotta wait. Okay. Anyway, you know what? I work there. If I ain't gonna get fired over this. In the 3.8 release that's coming out extremely soon. And I hope nobody from my work is paying attention. All you have to do is mute your interface, in my case, the Rodecaster Pro, and then mute the interview interface. And there's a new channel when those two items are muted, and it allows for talkback, is what the industry calls it, right? So as long as yourself and the interview are both muted, there's a talkback. So what's happening is the sound effects panel is not muted, so it's playing the music, and your countdown timer is doing what it does. The other opportunity is if you have a countdown timer that is a video, and that video has audio built in, whenever a movie plays, it automatically mutes your interface and the interview interface, so you and your guests aren't giggling over the movie. And you would be able to talk to each other then. So that's coming out extremely soon. If you want to test and play with it now, go to ecamm.com/beta, download the beta, and you can see that it works. And join the beta community because, I'm over there. So here we go. Daryl wants me to make it louder. Most people are telling me to be quiet. I have it all tested. I'm scared to go too much louder because it might just peak, but I have it actually tested with a meter. So yeah, I'm not sure, but I did crank it up a little bit. Let me know how that works. Can Ecamm, the question is, can Ecamm run natively on Apple Silicon? I don't think this really matters, but I'm curious. The answer is no. But it's possible that in a new release coming up very soon, it might be the first official all-native streaming platform. It's possible. I'm not quite sure if that's really going to happen, but in theory, I don't see why they wouldn't make it 100% native very, very soon in version 3.8. Matt, thanks for the question. Thank you, your tech coach. I really appreciate it. I love it when people put the Q's in front of the question. Mr. Riley, you know I love you. You got to stop it. Hey, Brian Stevens, good to see you here, brother. Brian is going to be on my show coming up this weekend, so I'm looking forward to that. Thank you, Callie. Thank you. Let's dig into some more questions. Yes, Brian, key point. That was my issue too. The standard issue NDI tools used to crash a lot on my M1, and on the regular Mac, what would happen is if you minimize the window, say for Chrome, by accident, it would crash and then you have to restart it. So that's why I just gave up and bought Cinia. Cinia works perfectly fine. If you got to use the free version, just remember that tip. Don't minimize the window that it is sharing. It doesn't know how to handle that. It freaks it out. And yeah, so we got that Matt's question. Let me see. Scrolling. I'm with you, Brian. That's exactly what I did. I paid $40. And you guys, make sure you join the Leader Challenge live every day in April. I'm probably going to do Veda Challenge, which is video every day in April. Not probably. I'm definitely going to do it. So, yeah. I don't know. Maybe I should try to do both. Oh, that would just kill me. And Alex McDonald is on point right there. Let's see. Scrolling. I missed the question about monitors, but that was from Sammy. I can't find it, but don't worry, Sammy. I'll answer your question. How many monitors should you have when you live stream? As many as you need. I personally, I can't function in a one monitor system. I just can't. I haven't done so for over 20 years. Since dual monitors became a thing, I have never used a computer with a single monitor. I can't take it. It hurts my face. Even when I go on a plane and I'm flying, I have my notebook open, I have my iPad open, and they're kind of in a V on that tiny little table, and I get it done. I have a hard time. But that's me personally. If you could get away with one monitor, by all means, people, knock yourself out. I just can't do it. So I am currently using my IMAX 27, and then off to the side, I have a 34-inch LG, and right above that, I have a 24-inch Dell, and then, of course, the one that's on the camera, and then a tiny little Confidence. That's, but as many as you need. And if you're running on an M1, you're going to be kind of sort of stuck with two, but not really. There's ways around that. But just realize on your systems, if you guys have a weaker system, the more monitors you throw at, the more pull you put on the system. Monitors do use a lot of system resources, especially if you buy the LG bodyboard. Like, I could rip this thing off of here and take it out to the beach and ride waves for days. This sucker is huge. So just remember that. Al Jennings says, I wanted to show the drummer in our church and live stream using the GoPro. What's the best way to connect the GoPro to a Blackmagic switcher over a 50-foot distance? It can be done. It's going to take a tiny little bit of work. But let me see if I can pull these up. I need a HDMI Cat 5 extender. There's the answer. And here we go. I would tell you to buy a brand that I don't even see here because it's Amazon. Come on, Amazon. Give me a real one. I don't want none of these guys that will mess my dude up. All right. I think Sabrent. I will go with Sabrent. They would be okay. But you basically need something that's known as an HDMI Cat 5 extender. This is what it looks like. This is the Sabrent model right here. And you basically pop the Cat 5 into one end, HDMI in the opposite end, and then you're going to have HDMI here and then Cat 5 on the other side. So you just wire those two suckers together at a distance, and they do work. We use these a lot for projectors and things like that when you're doing an event and you need a lot of space. So that's basically how it works. And honestly, I like this brand too because they actually went with Cat 6 instead of Cat 5, even better. So you just need two of these guys and a Cat 5 cable. Now, you might fight your GoPro a little bit because GoPros are weird like that, but in most HDMI devices work without hiccup. So If you find yourself fighting it a little bit, it's going to be HDMI cables is what you're going to have to mess with. The higher end brands like Electron or Blackmagic or some of the other guys, the higher end guys that make, or Griffin that make these, those are even better. They're just going to cost a little bit more. But these have been out for the ones I have in the back are over 10 years old. So they do work though. So that's actually a fantastic question. Al, big ups on Al with the question. Wait, wrong noise.
How you like that?
There you go. I found Sammy's question after the fact, but thank you, Sammy. All right, we're looking for Steve. You know, Paul, that is a fantastic question. First of all, if you guys are unfamiliar, buy me a coffee. New creators, pay attention. Grab a pencil. This pencil was designed by Paul Dixon. See, right there. It is a Dixon number 2. Grab yourself a pencil, sharpen it, lick the tip like my grandma do, and write this down. If you're a new creator and you're not monetized yet, and you're looking for a way to support your streams, a la the question that Mr. Paul Paul, see, I just mixed up these Pauls. Mr. Paul Burke just asked, get yourself a Buy Me a Coffee page, set it up as soon as possible. All you do is share that link out with your constituency, let them know that, you know, you're looking for support in order to continue your mission, and it's just gorgeous. I personally find it way better than Patreon. I do have a Patreon. I love my patrons, but Buy Me a Coffee is simpler. It's easier to do. It allows people to just buy a one-off event, buy a one-off ticket, buy a one-off comedy show to see Paul Burke tell jokes. Right, you sell your ebook, sell your merch, sell stickers, whatever you have to do in order to help fund your process. That's it. So Buy Me a Coffee is the way to go. And pretty soon, I believe they're getting podcasts. So you can put your podcast behind the paywall on Buy Me a Coffee. And that, my friends, is legit. There's tea in this cup, but hey. Okay, so Paul, yes, that's a really good question. Yes, Laura, you're correct because I told her she could. Okay, here we go. I found Mr. Mathis, Steven Chicago. He says, is it okay to connect a couple of cameras to a USB hub? No, but you're not at a loss. Okay, this is a favorite conversation of mine, brother. So the question is, what did I do with it? Oh, here it is. Let me grab this real quick. Okay, this is a topic that confuses people, and it shouldn't, and I blame the industry. It's not your fault. It's the industry's fault. Standard USB hubs, USB-C hubs, do not have enough power to handle what it takes to run multiple cameras. They just don't. A USB-C dock will be over here. And then a Thunderbolt dock would be here. A Thunderbolt hub would be here. And we're going from worst to first. This is a Thunderbolt hub. This comes at 110 watts of power. It can handle 3 cameras all day long because it has the juice, right? This is an Anker Thunderbolt 4 hub. On my M1 over here, there is a CalDigit Element. Well, I just happen to have the next one right here. It's a CalDigit Element hub. This is a Thunderbolt 4 hub here. This Anker is the same. And then somewhere floating in this office, there is a OWC version. This is an OWC Thunderbolt 4 hub, right? This one comes in at 120 watts of power. This one's 110. This one's 150. All of the above can handle what you're saying, but USB $29 hubs, if you have a Mac newer than 2016 and you bought a $20 USB-C hub for your Mac, or you bought a $100 USB-C hub for your Mac, you are actually stealing about 60% of the speed away from your computers. Mac ports, and I know this is super confusing and it messes everyone up. The ports on your Mac look like that. They have a lightning bolt above them because they're Thunderbolt ports, aka 40 gigabytes per second. when you use USB-C, you're either 5 gigabytes or 10 gigabytes on the really powerful one. So your Anchors, your Avias, your Cal Digits, your Kensingtons, your Belkins, the faster ones, they might be 10, but this is 40. If I said, hey, I'm going to give you $10 and you said, nah, dude, you promised me 40, you would be kind of PO'd, right? So do not go around putting USB stuff on your thing. Like, you really want to step it up to get Thunderbolt hubs and Thunderbolt ports because it's way faster. It has more monitor capability. There's a lot more to it than that, but those are the basics. And the big one is power management. So very fantastic question. Very fantastic question. Scrolling. I'm going through this kind of quick, gang, because I have an Ecamm class at the top. This is going to be an exact hour. Unheard of for Doc Rock, but it's going to be an exact hour. So what WebM support, Paul? That's next week. No. Are you using that? Hey, I'm going to WebM personally, Paul. And you know why. The compression, smaller size, like the whole 9 yards. So, man, dope question. And thank you for the pencil, sir. I'm going to keep this pencil in my close proximity because it's a Paul Dixon #2 HB. So, yes, that's a good question, Paul, by the way. WebM is basically HEVC, so it's way better as far as the compression and stuff goes. Boom, boom, boom. Thank you, your tech coach, for the beta group plug. And Paul, you know, because you're the After Effects dude, spitting them out with the After Effects version of compressor, which why my name just went messed up all the way. Media converter, I think that's the word I'm looking for. Yeah, that's better. I gotta send a shout out to my man, Mr. Coach, right here.
You are awesome.
That is my man, Coach, right there. Love it. Scary because I don't want her to kill me. All right. Hey, Felicia, how you doing? Let me scroll through these questions really quick. I gotta get through these questions. Oh my God, it's the stress. Do you know of any streaming services that I can use for Patreon other than YouTube, Vimeo, and Facebook? You could, with Patreon, you could do anything you want. You don't even have to make a streaming service. You could just make a Patreon and be like, I'm going to make cookies. So that's, I mean, they're kind of disconnected in that route. But Howard, if I was you, I'm going buy me a coffee all day. Is what it is. I mean, again, I love Patreon. I love my Patreon supports. Buy me a coffee is way better. I don't want to sidetrack this stream with that long conversation, but you know how to find me. I know you do. So we can have a conversation about that, and I'll explain you why I think it's dope. Really, I love this question. I hate this question. It has to do with your needs. I personally, I'm a LG not brand evangelist, but a brand of evangelist. Like, I love LG. I think they're some of the best out there. But yes, it really depends on your scenario. If you get something more detailed, email me directly, doc@ecamm.com, and I'll see if I can help you out. Okay. I love this question. Yes. Okay. Josh LeBeau says, is my 2017 too slow? If I upgrade to an M1, am I able to use the iMac as a monitor? Yes, you can. Same mouse and keyboard does work too with some other tools. Alex McDonald has the perfect name of the tool, which I completely forget right now, but there's a couple out there that will allow you to do that. I don't like the share mouse. That's the name of the program, share mouse. I don't like the share mouse and keyboard experience. I used to do that back in the day. It's irritating to me. I'd rather just have a bunch of small ones I can pull out really quickly. I have my keychron right here, which I can switch between devices really fast by pressing a set of keys. And here's the question that I'm going to answer that's going to make a bunch of people mad. It is 2021, right? So the way this works, Apple deprecates the computer at 5 years. They obsolete the computer at 7 years. So everyone knows the answer, right? You know where you are in that range. Now, right now, you're at 4, but you're creeping on 5, and you're trying to do something high level. Streaming is high level, right? My 2017 iMac ran this stuff perfectly fine, but I also minimize my stream to that capability. So like right now, you're seeing me and you're seeing a little NDI and comments. That's it. I'm not trying to do anything crazy. I'm not playing any movies. I'm not doing whatever. That kind of sort of would be perfectly fine on the 2017. When you bring in a guest, right? In most programs, Ecamm for sure, it's one core for each guest. So if you have a 4-core machine, you can kind of do 4 guests. Anything more than that, it's going to start wigging out. So you just kind of, if you're going to do a relatively basic stream in 2017, it's fine. I personally can't see why anybody who wants to stream professionally would not just go out and spend $700 on a mini, right? Even if you have to fundraise for it, cut grass, wash dishes, paint your friend's house, dig in your garage, sell a bunch of stuff. I would figure out a way to come up with the $700 and get the mini, because that thing is faster than this 2020 fully loaded $4,000 iMac. And the second part to your question is Luna display. Luna display and the mini hardwired over the Ethernet. The iMac monitor becomes the monitor for the mini, but you're still going to want another monitor. So yeah, good question, by the way. Fantastic question. This brings up a good question. I have a MacBook 13 in M1 and I want to buy a monitor. Okay, yeah, again, it depends on your recommendations. If it's up to me, I'm sticking to everything LG. I like the LG Ultrafines if you want it to be slightly prettier. The LG Ultrafine Wide, this is a WQHD, and it depends on whether you want 4K, 2K, 5K, 2K, non-4K, full HD. It's just a matter of resolution and size, but pretty much anything in the LG camp will be gorgeous. That's just me. I know there's other stuff out there. I know Samsung is great, whatever. LG, just me. I know that's crazy, but yeah. Brian has good tips for you guys on the GoPro thing. The best battery charger for the Sony A7 III or A6600, the Sony legit one out of the box, all day. However, if you can't get to that, this is made by Small Rig, and you just slap the Sony battery right on top. This is a Sony battery. You take the big one like that, you pop it on, and then you can run an A6600 for about 6 hours off of this. But the Sony legit plug-in is good. Also, there's a company called Raise Up. Neither Ms. D nor I can say what it is, but there's those guys, and then it comes with this guy and you plug it in. Those are probably some of the best, but I have Sony real ones, and I know they cost $130, but the camera costs $1,000. So yeah. Let's see. Have you strapped down the wire on your SM7? Yes, I have. Right here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but sure. I didn't strap it down as much as I wanted to, but I'm afraid to give it too much bend. Yes. Let's see. Will the Blackmagic HDMI SDI run? Oh, all day. That's what SDI cables are for. That's exactly what SDI cables were for, so that you can go all over the place. I don't know. Let me see something real quick. I'm going to do this. But yes, that is probably hands down the best way to get it done. Is if you're going to run a long cable, then just run an SDMI cable. Run SDI cables are designed to go for really, really long lengths, and that's why it's kind of sort of the industry standard, and it's been that way for years upon years upon years upon years upon years. So that is actually the fantastic way to get it done. I don't know why I can't do this. Come on now. Focus. Anyway, let me screw that. Thank you, Anna. Thank you for that. I appreciate you, brother. Always out here being nice to everyone and teaching everyone how to do these things. So that is awesome sauce. Oh, okay. I'm almost done. And go here. I don't know why they moved it. You know, I love when software companies move things at ways that's different from the way you used to have it. So then when you need to find it in a rush, you can't find it because they moved it. Anyway, I was going to show you guys something on the Buy Me a Coffee page, but they moved it. But yeah, anyway, if you have questions about it or you need to know more, hit me up offline and I will do what I can to help you because it is a blessed thing for new creators. Yes, the CalDigit T3 dock is dope. You weren't paying attention. Came out in September. That was a while ago. But yes, that's absolutely the bomb. Here, let me do this. Okay, anyway, we're going to keep scrolling. Hey. Hey, that's funny, Renee. I still didn't get a chance to email you yet, Renee, but I will. I got something for you. Dun, dun, dun. Actually, I like the PR40 still. It is a great mic, but I got way too much bass for that thing. Like when I talk into that thing, it gets muddy just because I have way too much bass. You know what, Patrick? I'm gonna agree with you. The connector itself is dope. All of the things they threw in that connector without explaining to people that there are myriad things that can fit in that connector has messed up everything. Kim, I changed it to all blue because it's live streaming pros days. So yeah, that's why I changed it to all blue. Okay. Cutting Edge TV wanted to know if you should set up Buy Me a Coffee under the YouTube name. You can set it up under any name you want. You can set up Buy Me a Coffee under Juan Valdez. It's kind of irrelevant, but I do like to stick to branding because it just makes life easier. Nowadays, there's a lot of conversation around branding things on your own name because should you change mid-flow, you're good to go. Actually, one of our heroes in the conversation today, Mr. Rene Ritchie, he's a prime example of that. Everyone knows him as Rene Ritchie, right? He has a bunch of things that he does under that name. And his, not to be mentioned, the four previous company, even everybody knew that company because of Rene Ritchie, you know? So when he left to do his own thing, which I completely love and completely support, it was easier to make that move because the double R is a known quantity. So now if he all of a sudden decided to make Rene Ritchie Coffee, people would probably buy it because the name is under the name. And if you go through most of the famous folks you know of, their name is the thing. I have been asked to actually just legally switch my name to Doc Rock because it's been it for over 40 years. It's a known quantity. So I'm a strong believer in that. And I take somebody like All Things YouTube, Mr. Matt Haas. I love Matt, but I think Matt should start pushing Matt in less All Things YouTube. He could be Matt Haas teaches All Things YouTube, but it's a more valuable branding proposition because if he changes his mind and decides to just become a CNC guy, which is quite in his wheelhouse, All Things YouTube CNC doesn't make sense. Matt Haas CNC, bingo, all day long. I'm in there like swimwear. Plus, he's named after an avocado. I'm just saying. So,
You are awesome.
there you go. We're moving fast. We're moving fast. We're moving fast. Doing a Zoom wedding at the end of April, thinking about bringing my M1 Max production and experience portable monitors. No, Patrick, but I am in the process of looking for portable monitors right now. If I got to just grab one without thinking, it would be Asus because it's Asus. It's just, I mean, they're good for most things. So yeah, I don't know. I haven't had a chance to play with them. I have been looking in it because I want to build an M1 setup in a Pelican case or SKB case. And yeah, I just know that I can trust ASUS. But yeah, I'm definitely working on that because I think that's going to be the move right now, is to be able to build a streaming setup which consists of 2 Mac Minis, a bunch of cables, a power supply, 2 portable monitors, 2 Bluetooth keyboards, mice, and then 3 Sony ZV-1s. That's the plan right now, but we'll see what happens. Good question. I am scrolling. How do I stream from 2 PCs? Oh, Mers, that's a good question. I don't see it on the board, but you got to bring one into the other through HDMI. Most streaming softwares are not going to let you occupy 2 streaming keys at the same time. So you have to stream it into one place. No, okay, I take that back. I used to do this. I used to have 2 literal PCs because OBS for Mac was trash. But I used to do my production in the Mac, take the HDMI out of the Mac, run it into an HDMI splitter, and send it to 2 individual PCs. And at that time, I was sending one to Facebook and one to YouTube. And then Restream came out. All of that stuff out the window. It was such a pain in the butt. And every time I touch a PC, I start to itch a little bit. So it's a tool for me. Like, I'm not a PC hater. I actually have 3 of them still, but I just much rather do this type of stuff in the Mac just because it seems to flow a little bit easier. And I never had to wait for random Windows updates right before I was about to do a stream. Like, instead of starting a half an hour earlier, we always had to start like 2 hours earlier just in case the Windows machine started asking me crazy stuff. Victor, yeah. Atem Mini is dope because it does take some power off the computer. I actually like them, but I refuse to use them because I refuse to not do 4K in 2021 because I future-proof, because I understand the power of future-proof, because I've been in this video business for a long time. The higher quality you can make something now, you might not even need it now, but when it comes up later, it's just going to do better for you later. So I love to do every single thing in 4K, period. So, yeah, I just wish Atem would just come out with the 4K version and then we'll be gravy. Mostly it has to do with editing and repurpose. Whole different conversation. You follow me, we'll have that conversation a lot. Me and Ms. D talk about this like religion, like we almost try to beat it into folks. But yeah, it's definitely a good way to take some power off of your computer. Now, that being said, if your PC is not the strongest, computers are getting cheaper and cheaper and cheaper. It's better to replace it. I don't know why people love to fight with slow computers. You don't have to go and build your dream build. You have to build your purpose build. So you can probably build your purpose build PC just for streaming at around $1,000, at least according to Linus anyway. So yeah, Ms. D, thank you for that. Hey, Eileen, I see you, but I'm scrolling fast because I have to do Ecamm demo in 20 minutes, and I want to make sure I get to all of these questions. Josh, follow-up question. Is it okay to stream and edit video on the same? Okay, 8 works perfectly fine. I have never had a single problem out of 8. I absolutely love my 8. It was legit. What did I do? I returned it. Returned with a T. Why did I return it? Is because when it's time to resell this, when Rene Ritchie says they are coming out with a space gray M1XX that has like 16 cores and 64 gigs of memory, it's easier to sell. That's it. And $200 difference right now is going to make my life faster. Just to spend an extra $200 now, I could get that $200 back in a single editing project. So yes, if you can swing it, get the 16 because the 16 just makes it easier, but the 8 was perfectly fine. Now, to your other question, I personally chose this as a streaming machine. It runs Ecamm. It runs Big Sur. It don't run nothing else. Nothing. Not a thing. That's it. just that. Now, can you run Final Cut on it? Absolutely. Right? And should you have any problems? Not really. The only thing that I would caution is if you understand how to do Final Cut data management. In other words, at the finish your project, go into the file menu and tell it to delete generated media, because you don't need all of those render files anymore, because you don't need all those proxy files anymore, because you don't need that optimized media files anymore. Your Final Cut library sitting at 200 and something gigs will go down to like 17 gigs. And so if you're going to do that, then it's fine. If you're not going to remember to do that, you run the danger of having your Final Cut program not realizing that your hard drive space is gone, and then you go to do your stream and it don't have no elbow room to work. So that's the only sort of caveat to that. But you can fix that super simply with something like the Western Digital Black, which I just had on my table yesterday, what I do with it. Or something like these little, SanDisk, just edit off of externals, and then you're gangster. You're good to go. Okay. Thank you. Oh, all the way from England. I hope somewhere near Manchester. Glory, glory, Man United. Sorry, Steve Worthy. Manchester is red. Yes. So an older 8-core Mac. Yeah, no. Yeah, it'll work. But you got to know that. You got to know that you're going to minimize your machines. Like, I have a frustrating problem about this, because all of us, we want to be open and tell everybody, just get in, do what you got, use what you have, whatever. But you have to know that you have an old computer, right? It's like when I was in college and my bucket, like duct tape side mirrors bucket, like trash bag to hold the windows up bucket, like see the ground through the floorboard, see the stripes as I'm passing. So what was I not going to do? I wasn't going to drive to Atlantic City with that. I go to school. I go to 7-Eleven, I go to the, video game store, but I'm not going to go to California with that car, because I know that car wasn't going to make it. If you're willing to limit your stream to what we're doing today, where it's just you, maybe a guest, and that, you might be fine. A modern 8-core processor can handle that, but an older 8-core processor, not so much, because of the graphics cards. Because the Ethernet in there is probably not as fluid any longer. There's just things. And if streaming is making you money, then invest in a Mini or M1 MacBook Pro. If streaming is not making you money, work on your monetization strategy first. Set up a Buy Me a Coffee page. And if you're the French press person, and you can't squeeze $700 in Buy Me a Coffee donations in, say, a month and a half, then we need to refocus on what we're working on. Because I can't see putting yourself through the pain of fighting an older 8-core machine. And yeah, I know it sounds weird, and I think a lot of people, they get stuck in other things, but your machine is the basis of this whole thing. I would rather see you come on an M1 with a Logitech 920 and have a nice fluid stream than to have an 8-core machine with a Sony A1 struggling. I hope that helps. It makes sense to me. I'm sorry, I don't have an Abby. I can't show you guys an Abby. GoPro for the distance. Will the Blackmagic Ultra Studio 3G recorder? I don't know the answer to that question, Felicia. That I got to look up, and I can circle back with you. I remember the Ultra Studio recorder having struggles, and then so that kind of like, that just turned me. I stopped looking, because like I don't do struggles, and what's the GoPro going to do? Like, if you're going to be in an inclement situation where you need a GoPro, fine. If not, there's other things that you could do that will work perfectly fine. Well, actually, you already have the GoPro. So, yeah, that one we got to revisit. I don't know the answer to that question, because I am not familiar enough with the Blackmagic Ultra Studio recorder. Thank you, Renee, with the Canadian hearts. All day, absolutely. The David's question is, or Digital Buddha, sorry. Is the ZV-1 a good camera to give a 7-year-old to take out and use to document and record with? Absolutely. The first thing I would do is throw a Ulanzi steel plate on the bottom like this, because it makes it stronger. That was probably loud. But yeah, the ZV-1 is right now my favorite camera. It's so weird that this simple little $650 camera is like my all-time favorite camera right now, but it's dope. Everyone's talking about the yeah, 2 Mac Minis in the microphone. That is going to be the name of my portable streaming company. That's what I'm going to do. 2 Mac Minis in the microphone. See, it's the Haas Avocado. Oh, I get it, because Louise said it's Matt Haas. That's funny. That's funny. You guys, oh my goodness. Brother Alicio is here. We live. Gang, gang. Mr. Alicio released his merch today and some free overlay packs. So if you're not already following Mr. Alicio Way, make sure you jump on that. I love when people make fun of my my random doc isms. Oh, let's see. Okay, Apple user, and I need to do a 6-person remote stream with the Mac Mini. Restream. Go to Restream.io. Sorry, my Japanese just leaked out. Restream.io. Let's go to Restream.io and open up the browser. Have your camera, if you already have one, connect it, and that's it. You don't have to buy anything. Just use Restream. I work at Ecamm, but we do 5. For now, we may change that, we may not. I personally think anything over 5 is just noisy and impossible to manage, especially if you're doing something like politics or sports or Mac PC conversations, or is Apple just out here trying to make money? Stupid comment. Yeah, it's 6 people on the stream. I don't know, bro. You got to do it because somebody told you to do it. But yeah, 6 is a lot. Anything more than 3 is a lot. So it's just hard to listen to. I know everybody thinks they want to do it because they want to be TV. It's a lot to watch on TV. Just go to any news station right now, or any sports station, or Sunday morning football, or ESPN, FC, and just listen to them pontificate about sports ball with more than 5 people. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. But yeah, probably what you want to do is just use Restream, because you can do up to 10 guests. Thank you, Gigi. I just decided I was changing her name to that because it's a lot. But yes, a dedicated stream works perfectly fine. Yes, Caleb, and you keep your stream like relatively normal. Sammy's the king of taking an old machine and making it do work, but you definitely have to make sure you're keeping it down a little bit. You're not giving it too much to do. Let's put it that way. That is the English I was attempting to speak. Let me go back here and find the answer to Glenessa's question. Ulanzi. I love this Ulanzi plate. Like, they are so good. So Ulanzi.com, you can pick them up on Amazon. I believe I already put it in my kit page on kit.co/DocRock, but if not, I will put it in there. But let me show you. So this is the Ulanzi page, and we go over here, and the ZV-1, we're just going to go for cameras and camera cage. And they got cages for everything, but for the ZV-1, it's just a little bottom plate. So this is the one for the Fuji, but it looks exactly the same, and you can get it with or without handle. So sans or sansui. You can do it with or without handle. That's the right answer. I'm not even going to try to practice my French while Renee is listening, because then he's going to laugh at me and say, what a donkey. But yes, Amazon has it. You can just look under Amazon. It's $19. It's super, super inexpensive, but it is worth it because it gives you, I'm not going to take this plate off, but instead of having a single tripod mount on the bottom, I have like 4. So I have spots where I can pick, and you still get access to the battery and the chip. So I absolutely love this. The other thing that's really cool, it has a 1/4 thread hole on the side. So if you have, like my Ulanzi tripod guy, I can put the camera this way. So when you want to do an Instagram story, you can just screw it in there. It's easier to take the plate off and attach it, but it'll go like that. And then I can do vertical video because Sony ZV-1 does vertical video. So it's really cool, and I love it. And the reason why it's not screwing in is because it's loose on the bottom. But absolutely fantastic setup, and it's well worth its weight in gold. And while you're there, get one of these quick releases for the tripod, because all you do is camera on, squeeze the buttons, and then it's in there. Close that thing. And it's in there, and when you're ready to take your camera, squeeze the buttons, take it off. Like, this is the dopest quick release system in the game right now. You can even do a cool little sideways action. So, Ulanzi, what is this? The UL100 with the claw on the top, and then the Ulanzi bottom plate. So $40 for the UL100, $20 for the bottom plate, and you have yourself a pretty swanky ZV-1 running gun machine. What's cool is if you put the tripod that you use for streaming with the claw head, all you're going to do is come back, squeeze, and plop it right on. You won't have to even recapitulate anything. So that in itself is pretty dope. All right, I'm scrolling. Check, looking for cues. What's the name? Oh, that was you. Got it. I think we covered it. On the wall. So, hi, John Pullman. 日本語のことができますけど、ライブストリーミングプロの人は全然わからないから、俺英語だけこのストリーム。Boom! Tough acting to acting. Gang, absolutely love it. I want to thank you guys for allowing me to be LP today. Like, nowhere near as cute, but almost as good. Not even close. not even close. But we tried. So today, I really appreciate you guys for coming through and hanging out. Don't forget, you can just come and bug me at any time if you have questions or we miss something. Here's my favorite thing. And I learned this from my brother D Denman, and you know I love D Denman because he's bald, bearded, and bespectacled, and that's the only way to fly. If we missed your question or you have another question, and sorry, I can't take any more because I have to go do an Ecamm demo right now on the Ecamm channel. So I'm literally doing back-to-back streams with just enough time to go and make a Rene Ritchie break. So if you have questions, come to the comment section of this post. This video will be alive in a little bit. You know, YouTube likes to do some processing. It normally takes a day or so, but just come back to this post and put your questions down there. I will come back and circle back and answer the questions in the comments, right? Or you can just send me an email or a DM or look me up in the post office. I'm normally ranked somewhere between most wanted 8 and 9. And yeah, we'll do what we can to get your questions answered. And I really appreciate every single one of you guys for showing up. I appreciate the LGL fam for coming over to support LSP and the team at LSP. I can't thank you guys enough. Alyssa, Callie, Daniel, like, you guys make this way easier. Kat ran away because she's like, no, Doc's coming, I'm out of here. And she took off. So happy birthday, Kat. I hope you enjoy it. Yeah, thank you guys for showing up. And maybe the next time she has something to do, she'll let me come back and play. Because this is fun. I really appreciate you guys. Oh my God. It's like we've been here forever. Salud! Let's play some music. We're going to music ourselves out of here, and I'm going to find my digital Buddha and my favorite song. So we're going to play it because Digital Buddha loves this song, and I really, really appreciate you guys so much. If you need to find me, I'm at Doc Rock on just about everything. Peace out. Aloha, and have yourself a fantastic weekend.
There's a sparkle in your eyes. I feel the warmth of your skin. Just the touch of your hand makes me tremble within. Love the smell of your hair, lying here in my bed. Never gonna be alone, 'cause with you I'm finally coming home. I wanna be with you always, 'cause that is what my heart says. That's what my heart says. I wanna be with you always. You are my world and